My name is Akruti Babaria. I'm the founder of Culture Khazana, where I connect families with culture. Before that, I used to be a project manager for a health insurance company. But since childhood, I've been a dancer. I have learned Indian classical dancing for over 12 years and have Bachelor of Arts in Indian classical dancing. So since childhood, I have been into storytelling, and movement has been my way of storytelling. Then in 2017, when I had my son, my husband and I, who are both Indian immigrants, we realized how important it was for us to give our heritage, explain our heritage, and why we do certain things we do. Why does mom wear a certain dress? Why do we eat certain foods, and the stories that come with us? We wanted to explain those to him, give him the confidence to be able to talk about them to his friends, own it, and hopefully share them with his friends. So they empathize with him and why he is the way he is. So that's why I started Culture Khazana, and I started doing programming. I also curate materials from India. I create materials, I create puzzles and other toys and games, and do programming with organizations to share the cultural stories. So the programs I started creating for young audiences, they revolved around storytelling, movement, music, and also some sensory. The way I learned when I was learning the Indian classical dance form was through listening to the stories, through the visuals of the outfits, through touching and feeling things, and through movement. And I wanted to create an environment for children where they are stimulated in various senses, and children learn through different senses, where they got a complete package. They got to experience the culture through the stories, through the movement, through the music. And so I created those programs, which included maybe a book reading. They included me telling a story in a very theatrical way, and also teaching them a few mudras, how they can depict things and go home and hopefully share it with their family. So some of the favorite parts of Indian culture, and also predominantly South Asian culture, when we think about them, we think of the generations of heritage. We think of colors. We think of vibrancy. We think of music and dance. And some of my favorite parts of those are the festivals, because that's one of the ways, through osmosis, by experiencing those festivals, and by being a part of them, by connecting with family, by eating those foods, by dressing up, and by performing in those festivals, is how I built some of my fondest childhood memories, which I still remember now, and which I now want to share with the next generation. So dance is a great way to stay healthy and active, and the way that I try to stay active and have the endurance to dance is by doing a lot of it. And I start in small increments, where I will start with dancing maybe 15 minutes in the beginning, because I don't have that endurance if I'm really gearing up for a performance. And then I build it up to at least 1 hour, where I have enough stamina, where if I'm going for a performance, just the adrenaline rush is going to take a lot of stamina out of me, where if I have that much endurance, I can give my whole and soul to that performance, even if it's just a 10-minute. But it's basically starting small and building on it. So the arts are important to expose the youth to in the community, because that is such a beautiful way for them to experience various things. And kids from the very young age, they love colors, they love to explore, they love to touch and feel. Like, all kids love arts and craft. And taking it to the next level by using that as a medium to educate them about issues, about other people's stories, other people's culture in my case, where they can relate to it. It brings something which is relatable, and it brings something for them which is enjoyable. So they learn through play, in a sense, which sticks with them longer. They can learn about it, and they can hopefully retain it and empathize with it. So in doing these programming for young audiences, for children especially, I remember an instance where I was in a school in Niagara Falls, and some of the children that there had never heard of Bollywood. They had never heard that kind of music. And in the beginning, for some of the kids, not all of them, some of the kids, they were hesitant to try it. But there's monkey see, monkey do. The more they saw of it and how they saw the other children just accept it and embrace it, they joined in. And I did have an instance where one of those kids came back to me and said, "Thank you. I think I had so much fun dancing with you." Because there's something in movement which is just so enjoyable, and in arts which is universal. It's without any boundaries. Something that I would like to say is, as an immigrant, I brought with me the culture that I grew up with. And then now, having lived in America, calling this my home, having lived more of my life here than where I was born, I have built a new culture, which is a blend of what I came with and what exists here, and which is beautiful, which is my passion to share with people through stories and programming. And young audiences provide such a wonderful platform for organizations and our youth and children to experience it in a way that is enjoyable and fun. So thank you so much for this platform.